A U.S. film director called Eric shows up in the first scene, traveling to Cyprus to begin filming a documentary. He visits the well-known Hotel Gula, which seems to have a sad past. Eric is accompanied by Sophia, his wife, who was raised in Cyprus. A tour guide named Anna meets the couple at the airport and gives them an overview of the area. She says that sea serpents, mermaids, ghost stories, and the tales and legends of old gods are just a few of the many subjects Eric may deal with. She also discloses that the Hotel Gula has been deserted for about 20 years, and the people who live nearby are afraid to approach it because they think it is cursed. But a wealthy couple named Frank and Rosemary have now bought the hotel, and renovations are presently underway. Eric arrives and meets with his crew, which consists of Christine, the sound technician, and Jennifer, the cameraman. A mysterious cement bag falls from the top of the hotel while guests are wandering, almost crushing them. They glance up, seeing nothing unusual. They therefore brush it off, believing it to be an error. Meanwhile, Sophia's eye is drawn to an old photograph that shows violence. A little while later, Bruce, her father, who will be collaborating with them as the show's host, approaches her. After a long absence, the two are ecstatic to see one another. Later on, Eric and the staff members speak with the hotel proprietors, who tell them about the history of the establishment. The pair said that it was New Year's Day, 1990, and the 53rd Monday of the year, an uncommon occurrence. Everything went smoothly during the celebration, but every single guest died as a result of the tainted food. This led to a significant scandal and a top-level investigation, but the findings were never used. The hotel's owners did the unimaginable out of agony. The area has been regarded as haunted by the locals ever since. They chose to purchase the hotel in spite of its horrifying past, since they think it's a wise investment, and there are no known paranormal occurrences. After learning this, Bruce advises that they attempt something different by making a ghost specifically for the performance. Although Eric finds the concept completely offensive, the elderly man is sure that the audience would find it hilarious. After that, Eric and Sophia retire to their fifth-floor bedrooms to recover. He is horrified when two female concierges suddenly appear and give him a spooky look before going into the room. A little girl is also seen strolling around the hotel's hallways at night. A little while later, Eric gets out of bed to investigate after hearing a noise outside. But as it happens, it's just his wife strolling around while she sleeps. She is about to leap from the balcony when he quickly goes over to grab her. After that, Sophia abruptly regains consciousness and leaves for her room. Eric and Sophia meet with Dom and Pat, the show's producers, the following day, and they appear eager for the filming. Following a little talk on the performance, the pair departs for their hotel. While traveling, Eric expresses guilt for his prioritization of business over their relationship, and apologizes for past transgressions. Turns out that Sophia has been depressed ever since the two lost a kid in the past. She reassures him that she is okay now, though, and advises him not to worry. Later on in the evening, Eric is using his computer when Anna comes up to him. She gives him a master key, which opens all of the hotel's doors and elevators. She also gives him a file that describes the location's history and mentions Teshub, the weather god. According to Anna, the people used to worship Teshub and offer human sacrifices in order to please her. She claimed that Teshub defeated his own snake pet to prevent a global calamity. Bruce visits Sophia in the interim to find out how she is feeling. She confides in him about her uncomfortable thoughts about the location since she constantly feels like someone is watching her. She also believes that there is a problem with the hotel owners because they constantly explore the property in an eerie fashion. Bruce reassures her that everything is okay, and that she shouldn't worry about, despite her misgivings. The group then gets to work, deciding on a fresh horror theme at Bruce's suggestion. They do this by turning down the lights and turning one of the hotel staff members into a ghost. Bruce then reveals to the crowd that the spooky hotel will be explored. Faking dread, he brings them to the produced ghost. Following the recording, all members of the crew, including the producers, appears to be pleased with the material, so they move forward with a second take. Simultaneously, Sophia is abruptly overcome with flashbacks to the terrible day in 1990 when she saw the visitors pass away one by one from food sickness. She collapses on the ground, feeling extremely disturbed about this. After some time, she regains consciousness, but her mental state doesn't seem to have improved. Seemingly undisturbed, the hotel owners offer her a strange drink, telling her it will help her relax. The foul smell makes Eric suspect, even if they say it's a herbal drink. After that, Eric takes her to a room so she can get some sleep, but she can't stop having nightmares. Then, she confides in him about her ability to sense evil energy around her. Eric dismisses her worries, stating that everything is safe there. Conversely, An unidentified man wearing a black mask creeps into Anna's room while she is taking a shower. She goes outside to investigate after hearing a noise, but the man hides in her closet. She gets ready and goes to study the script for their upcoming shot. Over at Eric's study table, she quickly texts Eric after becoming horrified to see a list of the tragedies victims. When he doesn't answer, she dashes to his room to talk about the situation, but the man in the mask stops her in her tracks and pulls her toward an elevator. Then, he takes out a knife and stabs her several times, killing her. He then pulls her body down to the basement after removing it from the elevator. Meanwhile, at the hotel lounge, Jennifer and Christine are watching the previous shots tape. They become curious and confused when they hear an odd sound during this. Even though it's the middle of the night, the two decide to look into its origins. Equipped with flashlights, a camera, and a microphone, they take the elevator down to the basement's gloomy interior. The unexplained sound gets louder and louder as they move forward. They are frightened at one point in their exploration as the things surrounding them begin to fall for no apparent reason. Feeling a ghostly presence, the two quickly hide in the elevator. When Jennifer enters, the elevator door shuts on its own, leaving Christine outside. Christine runs to hide next to a hot pipe, in a desperate attempt to save herself, burning her face in the process. Shortly after, she is startled as a ghostly figure appears behind her. She flees in terror, falling into an underground water tank in the process. Her fear increases when she discovers Anna's lifeless body drifting within it. She is pulled under by a hand that appears out of the water before she can realize what is happening, which causes her to drown. After a while, Eric finds his phone vibrating and discovers Anna's message, which calls on him to immediately lobby. Then, as he moves in that direction, he encounters Bruce instead. The two search for Anna but are unable to locate her. Feeling bewildered, Eric heads back to his spouse. A little while later, he gets a call from Jennifer, who hurriedly explains the situation. Realizing how urgent the matter is, he leaves and tells Sophia he will return shortly. Dom and Pat enter the room shortly after he leaves, obviously with malicious purpose. Sophia notices them, and bolts from the room, only to discover that the two concierges are holding blades. She bolts for the elevator as a result of this terror. Her escape is cut short, though, when the hotel owners catch her. Bruce, Jennifer, and Eric, on the other hand, go looking for Christine in the basement. Frank unexpectedly shows up soon after, and Bruce chooses to hang out and enjoy a drink with him. After that, Eric and Jennifer carry on with their mission until they come across an odd wall. They smash through with an axe and find an old, secret tunnel buried on the other side. As the two start to investigate the area, a startling discovery is made, an old photo of Frank and Rosemary from 1880. They come to the realization that the hotel owners are not real as a result of this finding. They hurry to Bruce's rescue, thinking he's in danger now. When they arrive at the previous site, Eric recognizes the solitary object as Sophia's cell phone. However, Pat attacks Jennifer and Eric is taken away by a bunch of masked guys before they can make sense of the situation. In the midst of the conflict, Eric succeeds in grabbing a spiky coil and defeats these attackers with it. Pat is about to kill Jennifer at the same time, but Eric arrives just in time to choke him from behind. The two concierges suddenly show up, and Eric and Jennifer immediately flee for their life. As they flee via a hidden tunnel, they encounter hotel proprietors, who have somehow become extremely elderly. When Eric asks about Sophia and Christine, Frank gives him a menacing smirk in return. They are forced to carry out their escape when the concierge shows up at that very moment. A little bit later, the two lock themselves in a storage room without realizing Dom is already there. He uses his knife to stab both of them, forcing them to the ground. Jennifer manages to get up and stab Dom in the back just as he is about to kill Eric. Eric is left to carry out this rescue operation by himself, after she unfortunately passes away from her wound. Eric keeps looking despite his wounds, and he ultimately finds Sophia asleep on the ground. While he is trying to rouse her up, he is suddenly attacked by a ghostly figure. In any case, he is able to retaliate by stabbing the figure badly with a pointed rod. It is finally revealed here that the ghost is none other than the mermaid Teshub. Bruce intervenes to stop Eric from killing it since he believes it to be a threat. He issues a dire warning, saying that Teshub's demise will cause the sun to die and ultimately bring about the end of the world. Eric decides to take a chance and stabs the mermaid to death in spite of the warning. Bruce is quite troubled by what he sees, so he takes out a knife and does the unimaginable. Following this incident, Eric takes his unconscious wife to the beach and leaves the hotel with her. Sophia's eyes suddenly widen as he tries to wake her, revealing that she is now under the control of a supernatural power. She looks at the sun, which gradually grows darker and darker, signifying the end of the world.